Hey guys, it's Angelo, and today is a rather short video, but a video nonetheless. We have big changes coming to Unholy Nova, which can now be cast from range, and also a change to Shadow Crash, reverting it somewhat back to its former state. Both changes are interesting, whereas the Shadow Crash change is more surprising in my opinion, and the Unholy Nova change was kind of expected already since we knew this would probably happen due to an older beta build. Now, just a few words before we start. I'm now streaming on Twitch every morning from about 9 AM Central European Time to 12 PM, and then again in the evening from 6 PM to 11 PM. Be sure to come around and leave a follow, as I'll be streaming a lot more frequently in Shadowlands. The link of course is down below. Also, if you want to join the discussion with anything Priest or World of Warcraft related, then be sure to join the Discord server with the link of course also in the description box down below. Okay, now that being said, and without any further ado, let's go right ahead and have a look. Alright, in yesterday's beta patch we had again set changes to Shadow Crash and Unholy Nova. The blue post reads the following. Greetings. In this week's build of the Shadowlands beta, Necrolord priests have learned a technique that allows them to hurl Unholy Nova onto a targeted enemy or ally up to 40 yards away. Unholy Nova's healing and damage will now also be split among targets that are struck. The goal of these changes is to help Unholy Nova be more useful in various modes of content, to allow it to be a compelling choice compared to other Covenant abilities. For Shadow Priests, we have reverted some of these changes, or rather the recent changes, to Shadow Crash. As a result, it once again has one charge, is a 40-yard range spell, and its previous missile speed is back. We weren't happy with how the 3 charges on the spell felt, and we saw feedback that it isn't an attractive talent choice in that talent row, which of course we all know is very true. However, it has not been completely reverted back to the old design. It now has a 30-second cooldown and deals much more damage. This should help balance it in the row and allow it to stand out as a burst AoE damage option. Alright, so let's discuss these changes, starting with the change to Unholy Nova. This change should make Unholy Nova the current go-to choice in Mythic Plus at the minimum. Unholy Nova is currently already competitive in Mythic Plus, battling its spot with the Kyrians, but of course has a reduced effectiveness in a raiding environment. Whether or not this changes makes it appealing for raiding as well or anything like that, that remains to be seen, but Unholy Nova's biggest issue, which was its inability to be used on range, has now obviously been solved completely. The spell still lacks any interesting synergy or interaction with our rotation, which still has me a little worried. Since it's castable on an ally, perhaps it would be a good idea to be able to cast it while using Mindseer, which can also of course be paired on an ally, or just letting it cast with Mindseer just in general in order to strengthen it a bit when it comes to burst damage. You could then for example start with a Shadow Crash, then Mindseer into an Unholy Nova while still channeling Mindseer, and then use the next global cooldown to use your first Searing Nightmare, while of course still in your Mindseer channel. You could actually fit 2 Searing Nightmares in right after you use the Unholy Nova, if you have the Insanity for it of course, and all of that within one single Mindseer cast. Now that would be an interesting way to implement Unholy Nova into our rotation without letting it get too strong. Be sure to let me know what you think of that idea, and whether or not it's an absolute 5-head, 200 IQ idea, or just not. I'll be testing it on the beta and will be sure to keep you updated on stream. The next change, which is the change to Shadow Crash, should be a good one as well. Shadow Crash was underperforming in its row by quite a lot due to multiple negative aspects about it. Buffing its damage and putting it on a 30-second cooldown is a good start and a step into the right direction. But Shadow Crash's biggest problem isn't really going anywhere, and that is its competition with Auspicious Spirits. It'll require more testing to see if Shadow Crash will be dominant in heavy AoE situations, but it's easily possible. Especially now, where our Spiteful Apparitions are reliant upon Vampiric Touch on our targets rather than Shadow Word Pain. This means that a synergy between Searing Nightmare and Shadow Crash is very likely to be prevalent in heavy AoE situations. This would also synergize well with the change to Unholy Nova. I'll be sure to keep you updated. Once more though, I'm missing the synergy with other spells when it comes to Shadow Crash itself. I'm not saying we should be allowed to cast it while using Mindseer or something, for example, but Shadow Crash has always felt clunky to use because it throws us out of the flow of what we're actually doing and forces us to just throw this comparatively slow bolt towards an enemy location. I'm not complaining though, I'm just interested in seeing whether or not Shadow Crash will end up being in the competition. Alright, be sure to let me know what you think. Do you think that these changes are good? Why or why not? Be sure to let me know in the comments down below. Personally, I think that both changes are pretty good, but it'll require more testing to really be sure. All in all, the Shadow Priest is lining up to be a pretty formidable, fun, and engaging DPS spec to play, and if the damage numbers will be tuned properly, we'll be in for a great expansion, honestly maybe even one of the greatest expansions we've ever had when it comes to our spec. Again, sorry to shamelessly advertise, but be sure to check the raid testing stream tomorrow, which will take place at 2100 or 2200 Central European time, so 9 or 10 o'clock depending on when the raid test will actually start. Alright guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, get excited for Shadowlands, be sure to test these changes if you have beta access, and I will see you all in the next one.